Hi, welcome. I'm here with Mandy, and we are starting something new. As far as we know, this is a first of its kind program. We're developing a social skills group for elementary to early middle school kids alongside a parallel support circle for parents. And this is a nature-based neuroaffirming group. And so we're going to talk about why that matters, why those things, why those words. So do you want to start us off, Mandy, with neuroaffirming? What does that mean and why does it matter?
Definitely. So, neuroaffirming is creating a really inclusive environment where all brain types matter and are accepted. As we know, lots of people have neurodiversity, which is where your brain works just slightly differently. And this can look like having very overly sensitive kids, kids who really struggle with emotional regulation. So they're melting down, they might have outbursts, they struggle in school. And creating an environment where we are accepting of all of those things is really key to the growth, the healthy growth of a child.
Yeah, and when I work with the parents, some of the parents that come to our group might be neurodivergent themselves and others might not be, and it doesn't matter either way, but one of the fundamental views that I hold in all of my work with parents is that there is nothing wrong with you and there is nothing wrong with your child. And, the way your brain works is a good way for a brain to work. And you
Definitely.
might struggle in a system that is not built for your brain, or you might need some skills or supports to make the world an easier place to be. It might help you to have some understanding, but there is nothing fundamentally wrong with you. So there is nothing to fix or change about who you are or who your child is.
Yes, that part of it is making sure you have a neuroframing space is allowing people to unmask and take off what society is telling you to be like so that you can be actually who you are, which is amazing.
So if there's nothing wrong with you, then why a social skills group? What is it that someone will gain from this if we're not fixing their social ability?
Well, so social skills group is really not the right term necessarily. This is a group to just help kids learn how to best communicate their needs, their wants, and how to build friendships in a way that feels easy and right for them. And I have learned recently that neurodivergent people communicate very differently with each other. And so that's kind of what we're going to work on is how do you talk to other people like yourself? Because those are going to be the people most likely that are going to be your friends. And that is a very different, unique communication style. And so I really want to affirm that aspect of it so that the child feels comfortable and confident to have those conversations.
And one of the ways that I think about this when I help my own neurospicy kids, especially my 6 year old who really desperately wants to be friends with everybody and play with everybody and doesn't understand why that doesn't work sometimes, is my goal is to help her accomplish her goals, not to tell her how many friends or which friends or that she has to say hi to everybody in a class or that she's not allowed to be bothered by the loud noises or whatever it is, but that I'm trying to help her accomplish what she wants from social interactions. Okay, so why are we doing this outside? Why is this a nature-based group?
Well, so a recent statistic just came out stating that children in America only have about 7 minutes of outside time that is unstructured. And there's a huge disconnect between, well, pretty much everybody in nature, most adults and most children, they use more electronic based things. This is really detrimental because our bodies, our nervous systems need nature to help regulate ourselves. And so it's outside because during the day, kids are inside and they have that structure all around them and being told kind of how to be. I want them outside of that. I want them outside and experiencing something different that will hopefully help, regulate their nervous system and allow them to be essentially who they are, unfiltered.
And in the parent circle, we start with a grounding exercise. And I also do these parent circles online. So there's not a requirement that it's outside, but it is really nice outside to be able to connect with nature in that grounding exercise and to really deepen that connection with the wider world. And especially as parents, when we get overwhelmed and there's like 8 million things that we're trying to do and we're thinking about, and it's really easy to kind of get tunnel vision. And then you can go outside and there's like this whole wider world. And it does help with the self regulation, but it also helps connect us to something that is larger, and that nature is not panicked about the homework that's due tomorrow. And, you
Yeah.
know,
And one reason why I love nature is I've used it for myself as well as my two neurospicy kiddos. And we found that when we had time outside, it just made everybody calmer and more engaged and reduced our anxiety about all those things you talked about. And so that's one reason why I want to share that because it really helped my family.
all right. So the last piece is, why does it matter that there's a support circle for parents? Why both? Because there's lots of social skills groups, but as far as I know, we are the first people to combine these two things. And why does that matter?
Well, because parents also need support. These kiddos can get this, and that's great. But parents who are raising all of these amazing neurospicy kiddos can't always talk about what they're encountering to other parents because those other parents, one might judge, but also just don't get it. And so, having that parent support, you can actually talk about the things that you're encountering in a judgment free zone and not feel alone on this journey, which is, or feel isolated.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree. And one of the things that I see, because I do work with parents in other groups and other circumstances as well. And one of the things that I see is, that I'll talk about these things and people will be like, of course I need support with, everything that I'm dealing with. And I don't have time for that. I've got to take my kid to this therapy. I've got to take him to school. I've got to, go to work. I've got to clean my house. I've got to make dinner. I've got a other sibling that goes to soccer practice. I'm doing this, all of these things. And like, there's not time for that. Right. And most of us as parents, especially when our kids need a lot, we put ourselves in the back burner. We don't prioritize the time for ourselves. And, so one of the things I'm always looking for is, how can we make sure that you are important without sacrificing the things that your kids need, because they both matter. They're both really vital. And so this is a way that both you and your child can get what you need at the same time.
I
All right.
wholeheartedly agree. Yes, it is. Yep.
So I'm so excited for this. We start in about 2 weeks. So if you are in the Denver metro area, please join us. The link to find out more about the program and to join us will be in the description. If you have questions, feel free to reach out. And if you're seeing this before August 28th, we have a virtual meet and greet where you can also meet us, talk to us, ask your questions.
Yes, it's going to be amazing. It's going to be so much fun.
All right.